Do you know that in Mandarin Chinese, there are only 413 possible combination of sounds? And in English, the common sounds combinations are 15,000, which is 30 times more than Mandarin Chinese. But why it feels like Chinese pronunciation is 30 times harder? In this video, you're going to learn the fundamentals of Chinese pronunciation so that you can master it quickly and effectively. 大家好，我是 Crazy 老师, professionally trained to teach Chinese as a foreign language. Let's learn the 5 things you must know about Pinyin and improve Chinese pronunciation dramatically in this new year. Number 1, never spell Pinyin as you would spell English. I know it's easy to understand, but not easy to do. As our brain is wired to say those letters a certain way, it's hard to unwire and rewire them. However, you can do it. So pretend you know no Chinese. How would you spell those pinyin? I heard too many times my students would do like a ka, maybe ku, and chi. Don't blame yourself. So when we don't have the resource we need to say those letters correctly, we ask help from our past experiences and probably borrow experience from your first language. So Pinyin is decideful because it uses Roman letters. However, quite a few of the sounds does not sound like what they look at all. So what does that mean to you? You have to make new associations to this new sound system and learn how you should spell Chinese pinyin instead. All right, let's learn to spell Chinese pinyin the Chinese way. So this is how I was taught in primary school. And first, you're gonna say the consonant and then say the vowel and then repeat consonant and vowel, and in the end you're going to put the consonant and the vowel sound together and also adding the tones. That means now that we see this, it's bo, ah, ba. That sounds easy, right? And what's not easy is when it comes to the sound you're not familiar with. Those are the examples we saw earlier. Now, in order to spell those correctly, you need to know first, in Chinese, how do we say the consonant? And in Chinese, how do we say those vowels? And for those, you can watch my previous videos, which will be showing in the description as well. 吃 吃 车 ca. Did you get it right? Now just pick a word in your vocabulary list and practice. Number 2, every syllable in Chinese has a vowel and their sound stay consistent. That is also true for consonants. So what do I mean by the sound stays consistent? So unlike in English, like in this example, she ate a bad cake. The or sound changes depending on what's before and what's after it. In Chinese, I can add a consonant before those vowels. Well, whether it's single vowels like or compound vowels like n, an, on, their sounds stay consistent. That means if I added a b, so it's b and ben, and if I added a g, it's g and gen. If I added a k, it's k and ken. So it's always the same sound. The tricky thing is you need to spot which are the compound vowels and also know their pronunciation. So again, go back to the basic practice if you still have trouble with those. Now, some of you may jump out and tell me, that is not true. And that is probably because of some special spelling rules, which I will cover in the future. Number 3, one character, one syllable, one sound. So Chinese characters or sound, they're very independent. That means when you're reading Chinese, make sure give time to each individual character. There's no omission, there's no one sound clash into the other. No, no, no. Respect the individuality of each character. Let's see, what do I mean? Principle 3 applies more in a word or a phrase or a sentence. In English, you can do, can I help you? Okay, you can make the sound together. Instead of can I, it become can I help you? But in Chinese, no, you will always say, can I help you? Okay, so now it's always 小黄喜欢打网球. We're not going to put 喜欢 as if it's one word like 喜欢 eventually it becomes like 选. Okay, so it's 喜欢. Okay, 2 characters. Well, there's only one exception, right? That is the R accent. So when it's the R accent, we actually want to make the R part of the previous sound. So now it just sounds more like one syllable, like 花儿哪儿这儿那儿. But that's the only exception. Okay? The rest of the time, remember, give time to say each and every syllable before you move on to the next. Number 4 is the 3 main factors that changes the sound in Chinese. Sometimes your ears are telling you, like, crazy 老师, really, I cannot tell the difference between 知, ji, chu, chi, shi, si. I won't blame you, because their only difference could be, do I give air out or not? So let's take a look at the main factors, and then you will not only tell the difference, but also be able to see those sounds yourself. So the first one is tongue position. To speak Chinese well, that means we need to do some tongue twisters, to do some tongue exercises. So let's see the example. Versus 鸡. Okay, let me show you. 知, 鸡. The shape of the mouth is about the same. Okay, the only difference is when you say 知, your tongue is curled up. When you say 鸡, your tongue is saying down. Okay, like behind this lower teeth. Okay, so that's the only difference. That's why they sound so similar. Number 2, the shape of your lips or mouth. Notice you have a little O shape for your lip. Ooh, and then when you do it looks like a little O as well, but this time it has an E sound, so your lips are like going up. So ooh. Or when you do where you need to open your mouth really big. Okay, so all those little details, as you see, they change the sound as well. Okay, so that's why it's really important to pay attention how you form the shape of your mouth and where you put your tongue. And the last one is very subtle. That's the air flow. Example, we have the sound qi, qi versus ji. Very similar, right? We have the same tongue position, same shape of your mouth. The only thing different is the airflow. When we say qi, ji, it's lots of air coming out at 1 second, like qi, qi. But when you do ji, it's just natural breathing. So when you first do those exercise or make the sound, you will have to mechanically make the sound. And later, it's become more and more natural. Number 5, hidden rules. This part is most difficult. It's like, oh, now I know how to spell the pinyin the Chinese way. I know my vowels, I know my consonants really well, and I know how to produce those difficult sound. However, why things still doesn't work sometimes? Well, that's because there are some hidden rules that you're not aware of. And so, for example, the special spelling rules. Like now, let me ask you: can you control the position of your tongue? Can you change the shape of your mouth? And can you control the airflow? Yes, you can. Will it be difficult for you to remember when to change the tongue position, the lips, your shape of the mouth, and the air out or in? No, it's not easy. It takes practice. Okay, but now let's assume you spend so much time practicing, and something still seems wrong. Why? There comes number 5, hidden rules. So there are some special spelling rules for Pinyin. If you're not aware of them, you're gonna spell it wrong anyway. And then the other is, I said the individual sound does not change, right? Which is still correct, but certain tones for certain characters, they will change. Okay, so subscribe to Crazy 老师 and you're going to learn the details about the special spelling rules and the tone changes rules in the future. Now that you know you have the ability to produce Chinese sounds, all you need to do really is to practice. All right, is there any other things that I missed? Chinese pronunciation? Feel free to leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. Please give Crazy 老师 a thumbs up and share it with family and friends. And let's conquer languages together. 好，我们下次见。